So today's video is the follow-up video to yesterday's build video. I'm going to show you the spec of the Zaskar, go through a few bits with you, and also tell you how to make sure you are buying a Zaskar towards the end of the video as well. So we're going to start at the rear of the bike. Now you'll notice I've got a set of smoke dark tyres on here. Now these are the reissue versions, just purely because they are getting quite hard to find the older sets now without cracking to the sidewall. So this set, they look the part and they ride decently as well. Now the rear derailleur is an XTR M950 unit, 8-speed, mainly just because I wanted a little bit of XTR because I ran an XTR rear mech back in the day, and then the rest of the spec tended to be an XT. The cassette is an XT M737 unit. As we move across the bike, same again, XT chain set, XT front mech, and a nice XT chainstay protector. The brakes, again, are XT M739. Now moving upwards, got the original GT seat collar and a core seat post. Now I'm not 100% sure that this core seat post is period correct, but to be honest it's one that I had and it fits, it's the right size, etc. And then we've got this flight seat. The reason why I went for this type of flight seat is I quite like the yellow highlights on the shoulders. It matches up with the Judy well, rather than just being a plain black one for instance. So as we move across the bike, got a Trans-X bottle cage, not the best brand, but it looks nice and it's retro. The crud catcher is one of the original Star Wars type logoed ones, so I think that looks good, and I am going to ride this bike as well, so you know it's nice to have a little bit of protection on there. Headset is an FSA unit, same again. I like FSA stuff. I know it's not Chris King and you know some of the top brands, but you know the headsets are decent stuff. Core bars, core stem. As we move around, you can see the XT STI units and the XT V-brake. Now the forks are RockShox Judy SLs. It is wearing the original paint still. The stickers have been replaced by units from retro decals, so that just freshened them up a little bit. The internals have been swapped to a spring conversion from the elastomer, just mainly because it makes them ride a little bit better. Now, same as I said on the other video, the highlight of this particular build is the wheels for me. I've owned these a couple of years. I always wanted a set of spin wheels back in the 90s, could never afford any. And to be honest, they don't ride that well, so I probably would have had some if it was my only bike. But on this particular build, they look really good. The stickers are the reflective ones from retro decals again. The wheels just set the bike off. I mean, I know some people don't necessarily like the actual spin wheels on many bikes, but I do think this is one of the bikes that they do suit, and it gives you that proper retro vibe. Now I'm going to show you how to make sure you are actually buying a Zaskar. Zaskars are probably the most commonly faked retro bike out there. A lot of people try and pass off the lower models as a Zaskar. Now the most common way that people tend to recognise a Zaskar is by the flat end cap. Now on the lower end models these are curved, so everybody always thinks that yeah, as long as it's flat it's a Zaskar. Now that's not necessarily true. The flat end cap also came on the very first Pantera, so the 1991 built 92 Pantera did also have a flat end cap. When you've got both frames next to each other, you can tell the difference in terms of the quality of the welds and the quality of the alloy, but it is quite hard if you're not used to handling a Zaskar and you know you've not seen one before, so people do tend to get caught out. The best way to know 100% is the serial number. So as you see on this one, 0296 means that it's built in February 1996, and then the final numbers are just purely a serial number. Zaskars have this sort of serial number. If it's got any letters in it at all, it isn't a Zaskar. So the lower end models do tend to have letters rather than all numbers. The 16 means it's a 16-inch frame. On the opposite dropout on the inside, you will also see it's stamped 6061. That means it's the 6061 alloy. It is also used on the Avalanches and also the backwards frames, the 6061 alloy, so that doesn't necessarily mean it is a Zaskar, but you have to combine all these three factors. So what you're looking for: flat end cap, serial number that matches something towards this one, and the 6061. That should mean that you've got a Zaskar. Next we're going to talk about sizing. So I know it's a common question regarding seat post size, bottom bracket size, front mech size, etc. So So I'm going to run through a few bits and pieces with that. I know it's frustrating when you're trying to build a bike and you can't find an answer online, you know exactly what size it needs, and you end up buying multiple things. So hopefully this will help somebody out. Headset on this particular one's a 1 1/8. The 1 1/8 I think came around about 93, 94 on a Zaskar. The early ones are 1 inch, but this one, 1996, definitely 1 1/8. Seat post size is 27.2. I know some people do say that it takes a 27. I've owned probably about 30 Zaskars now. They've all been 27.2. Front mech, 31.8 bottom pull. Bottom bracket is a 73mm shell, and this one's fitted with a 110mm spindle. That's because I'm using the XT crank, so that matches up really well with those ones. Now, in terms of size of the actual bike, the bike is a 16-inch frame. Now, it is a little bit small for me. I'm 5'11", and to be honest, I should be riding an 18. The 16s do look nice because they have this sloping top tube. It looks really, really well, you know, the silhouette of the bike. I've owned a couple of 18s and I've ended up selling them just purely because they don't look quite as good. You can see the seat post is jacked up quite high there just so allow me to ride it, but they do look really, really good. So that's the end of today's video. Next build is going to be a GT Lightning, so please subscribe to me and you'll be able to see that getting built. Cheers guys!